week it was my intention to talk some more about the fantastic buildings of Halifax, but on Thursday I got to see my oldest brother, who I've not seen since before I started these vlogs, so anybody who's been watching will know that I've been quite worried about him. That meeting I'd hoped would go well and would give me a chance to get through to him and engage with him. It didn't go like that. I got cross with him and eventually just walked off, just out of frustration. And that led me to reflect on my approach in trying to help him. And the other day, I've mentioned before about Andy's Man Club in Halifax, and I've had no dealings with that group other than to just be following them on Twitter and Facebook and sharing some information that they've put out. I think it's a fantastic group from what I've seen so far, and it's achieved amazing things in just under a year. Well, not just under, quite a bit under a year actually. And the other day, Luke, the guy that runs or set that up, he's put out a call for vloggers and bloggers to post their stories. That led me to think, you know what, maybe this could be the way that I can reach out to him. So that's what this vlog will be about.
So anyone that's been following me will know that my brother's not been in a great place. And the trouble was that I thought I could help him because he's helped me in the past. But when he was avoiding eye contact, he was keeping himself busy with stuff. He didn't come back to Mum and Dad's where he was staying until late, which I kind of knew he was going to do. Just in that incident, I realised that actually I'm not the right person to speak to him right now. He needs somebody else. Whatever it is he needs to talk about, it's not going to be with family at this point. And when I think back to what happened with me, I was the same. The first people I approached was not my family. I did go to him at some point, so now I'm trying to find another way to get him to talk to whoever he needs to, so that he can start to get back to his own self.
Well, I've had to think long and hard about what I'm about to say, since it will be going on the internet. Most of it is already in the public domain as a result of a public tribunal that required me to be brutally honest. And I suppose what's driving me to do this now is more about my brother and my compassion for him, the person that, to be fair, was an amazing brother. Should have been an absolute hero of mine when I was a little kid. I must have been 8 or 9 or 10 when he came back with his Ford Capri, and I remember him showing it to me, but my recollection is that I was very timid, very shy as a child. I was the youngest of 4 brothers. Phil, the one I'm talking about, is my oldest. He's 11 years older than me, so he's now 51. And for many years, decades in fact, I laboured under the false impression that we weren't a close family, that I couldn't talk about personal things with them. And thankfully I've been able to rectify that, and anyone that's watched my first vlog will realise why. When I think it was 15, 16, there was some stuff I really needed to probably talk about, as I was coming to terms with my sexuality in a world that I perceived didn't accept people like me. And Phil was like the wild child, which is actually quite cool, but when you're 4 you probably don't realise that. And ironically it was only when I came out to Phil, years later. I tried 3 times. He was the macho brother, the one that I thought would have the biggest issue, but it was something I decided I need to do. And when I finally told him, he just turned around and went, "Oh, is that all?" And that's probably one of the best things he's ever done. And since that time, we got really close. And then in recent years, that's just gone again, because I suppose it's those things of life catching up. Anyway, going back to me being a teenager and kind of coming to terms with all that, I did self-harm, so I have kind of Zorro scar on my left forearm, on the back of it, as in the outside, and for a good 15 years after I did that, I was utterly ashamed of it. Then I started, as I was getting more confidence in myself, I came to terms with that. But even so, still today, today I had a short sleeve shirt on at university, and I was conscious of, not leaving it fully on display. There you go. I've just put it all over the internet, so that's why I've got a Zorro scar. And actually, I should probably be proud of that, because that actually shows that at some point I had the courage to speak out, and speak to people about what was bothering me. So I didn't need to internalize it, and I didn't need to do that, and I didn't need to let it get any worse. From what I've seen, from what I know, the guys that go to Andy's Man Club and all the people that venture has touched, all the lives it's touched. These guys that finally talk, it takes a hell of a lot of courage, and it shouldn't need to. It shouldn't be that difficult for people, and that so many promising, largely young, but not all, people take their lives early. I'm 40 now, and there's too many people that I've been acquainted with that aren't here anymore because of that. And I was very nearly one of them. Not that long ago, maybe, I don't know now, 6-7 years. So I've never actually mentioned what I did before, but I was a police officer for 11 years. And when my civil partnership ended, when I was 30, I took that really, really badly. And I got into drugs, and I became dependent on more psychologically, on some things that were legal at the time, not anymore. And through doing that, I would fall unconscious at home on my own. There was one time when, had I been a police officer turning up at that situation, or the police officer, I was a police officer, I would have very quickly been sending me to hospital, and I didn't go. So I know how close I came and how lucky I am to have what I have now, and the opportunities and the learning I've had from that, and the strength I've gained from facing up to those experiences. And during that process, I went to Phil, and I told him about it, and he was great, as ever. And he used to have a saying, which he doesn't use anymore, about being, when you're down at the bottom, the only way is back up. And to realise that he doesn't now believe that is not a happy place to be, because that means that he sees two ways from that position, and the second one is not one that most people want to think about. And I want him to get that back. I want him to be positive again, and for his glass to be half full. I know things are hard, but I kind of sense that he feels like he's failed in a way, and he hasn't at all. I did tell him last week, when in amongst getting cross with him stupidly, and Phil, hopefully you're watching this, and I'm so sorry for the times I've got cross with you over the last few months, whether face to face or by email. It's because I want to help. Seeing how you were in your business, how successful you rose from a van driver to sales director in a multi-million pound company just through hard work and the gift of a gab. You could talk to anybody, and you still can, but you're using that as a shield these days. I can see it. The thing with Phyllis, he's now working in Saudi Arabia. He's away for probably 3 months at a time from his family. It's my niece's her birthday at the end of March, and I kind of that reassures me that Phil's not going to do anything stupid before that time, because his kids mean so much to him. But as they enter their teenage years, I think when kids get stroppy and say horrible things, I think for someone in Phil's position to hear those things could be the tipping point if he thinks he's going to lose them. I think this whole thing about failure, I don't know, it's an assumption. I'm no psychologist. He's 51 now. He lost his job before. I think he's terrified he won't get anything else. So he works in Saudi Arabia, in a country he hates. You need to come back, Phil. And however hard it'll be doable. I'm proving that to myself now with what I'm doing, and I know it's going to work out. I'm positive now. Okay, so I'm sitting here fighting back the tears because I don't know what else to do. I really, really want to help you, and I don't want you to do anything stupid, and I want you to find out that you can be that brother again. It's not the end of the line. I've just been to a panel thing tonight with panel discussion with some entrepreneurs at university, and a couple of them said things. This one was something along the lines of, the harder you fall, the stronger you bounce back up. And another one was that after every night the sun rises. So, these are people that have gone through really tough times. We all have. Anyone has. No matter what walk of life you're in, how fortunate your background has been, there's people to talk to. And that's what this Andy's Man Club does. And it seems to work for people. I don't know, like I said at the beginning, I'm talking from what I've seen, but where I heard about this organisation makes me trust in everything I'm seeing. One day I'll meet them. They meet very close to where I live. I don't feel like there's any great amount of talking I need to do, despite the fact that I do these vlogs and could talk the hind legs off a donkey. But I've only touched on the surface of what went on with me, but that's past, that's done, that every scar, every wound, once it heals, is a reminder of our inner strength, ability to survive and move on, and that's what I've done. That's what I'm doing, and to great effect, I think, for anyone that's around me. I have so much positive energy now. It's amazing, and I want to be the one that has that on my own. When my venture, this one or the next succeeds, I want my brother to be part of that, but not at the moment because his head's not in the right place. But it will be, and that's why I need him to get it back, because he is great and he can do what I need him to do. So please, Phil, sort it out, and I'm here when you need.